Today's guest is a force of truth, transformation, and unapologetic advocacy. Tenaj Moody is a survivor, a leader, and the founder of Light to Life, a movement built from the ashes of generational trauma and systemic injustice. Her work stands at the intersection of truth-telling and community care, and her voice is one that commands attention because it speaks for so many who've been silenced. In her chapter, Light to Life, One Mission, One Voice, she doesn't just share her story. She issues a call to action. Get ready to meet a woman who turned her pain into a platform and her truth into a torch. When trauma runs in your bloodline, breaking the cycle takes more than courage. It takes strategy. Tenaj Moody didn't just heal for herself. She built a movement to help others do the same. Tenaj, you've got power in your voice. Your story hits deep and moves people. But for those just tuning in, who are you? Who is Tenaj today? And what's the fire behind your work?
Wow, I need that intro everywhere. Love that intro. Who am I? Well, for starters, my name backwards is Janet, which has been inspired by a force of a woman who has created me to be here, by my mother. And so the work that I do and everything that I do is inspired through her, her experiences that she has overcome, and the opportunity that she has given life to me. And so without her and without God, and of course my father, none of these things would be possible. So I'll start there. For me, in terms of like who I am, I believe naturally I'm a healer. I create spaces for women and for girls, and gender non-conforming people, gender expansive youth, to be able to connect with each other, to be able to learn, to be able to uplift each other and build community. And, really what inspires me and what keeps that fire going is the resilience of our community, the ability and the silent superpowers that women and young women have that I feel like are often not not really highlighted in ways in which they should be. And I think that is what the community, the power of community can do, is being able for people to recognize their inherited strengths. And I think that's really what keeps me going, is the power of community, the power of resilience, and being able to really just be in spaces with women who have overcome some very difficult challenges and just never look like what they've been through. And I think that's what gives me inspiration, what gives me fire, and just motivation to continue to do everything that I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're pretty awesome.
Just a little bit.
Let's talk about this book.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about it.
P2P, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were invited to co-author, and you accepted the challenge. Tell me about that process.
What an honor, to be honest with you. P2P has been more than just an organization that I've been partnered with now for years. And I would say it's more than just a partnership. It's really a family. And when I got invited through Dr. Andres, it was really a no-brainer for me. Just the opportunity to be in space with other amazing co-authors who have had and shared similar experiences and are showing their power of resilience. It was just a privilege and an opportunity that I saw could have a really positive impact on the community. I think storytelling is so important because it gives opportunity for people to be inspired, to feel seen, and to be motivated to know that, they're not alone in their experiences. And there are people all around the world who may have had similar experiences, may not have the exact experiences, but there's something that I think in this book that each person can pick up and resonate with in their own way that I think could really create transformational change, not only for the world, but for people within themselves. And I think that's most important for change. So yeah, I think that the process in itself of just having that opportunity um, was a no-brainer when I was invited. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the chapter that you wrote in this book, because for those that don't know, this isn't your first rodeo. You've done this once or twice before. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I've actually written 2 other books. One is called Carry It With You. Humble plug. It's a bestseller on Amazon.
Ooh.
And I share a little bit about my story. And, it's also a journal, too, for the reader to engage in. And then I have a co-author series called Resilience Through Yoga and Meditation. And so I talk about the importance of resilience and how meditation has really been a healing modality for me in my life. And that's also a bestseller on Amazon. So 2-time best-selling author.
How do you do it? Write a good book, I guess? Are you some marketing genius?
No, I wish I could take the credit. I really do. Partnerships, good people who have genuine hearts, and people who want to have just like a positive impact on people's lives. And through the grace of God, having the words to be able to share with the community. So I wish I could take the credit. Writing can be easy for a lot of people if they're meant to be authors. I will say is like, I'm not like I wouldn't classify myself as someone who's like an author, right? Which is interesting because I've now written, this will be my 3rd book, but I still wouldn't classify. There's like people like J.K. Rowling.
Mm-hmm.
That's an author to me.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Like they're writing books.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am, I think my thing is just inspiration. Inspiration and healing. And so in whatever way that I can do that, whether that's through my work or whether that's through writing, that is really, I would say that's the way I do it. And I would kind of like classify myself as that. And that's how I do it is through partnerships, through people that believe in me and that believe in my story, and through God. Yeah.
I rock with that. And a lot of people say, oh, it's lucky.
Okay, that's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
you might not be an author per se,
Right.
but you're a fantastic storyteller.
Yes. Okay. So I like that. So I'll identify as a storyteller.
You'll accept that one?
I will accept that one. That's valid.
And then the other piece is, I don't believe in luck at all. I think luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Or at least that's what I tell my kids.
I like that.
So maybe the bestseller thing is just a positive side effect of the real work that you've already done. Because you're obviously thriving in your authentic self.
Thank you.
And you're building a community around that. And you're doing it in such a real way that you have a movement happening.
I appreciate that.
Has anyone like confirmed that for you yet?
It's crazy because I have people who say like, oh, you're like building an empire or you're building a movement. And I really just try to stay grounded and humbled because really I truly do look at myself as a vessel. the work that we do, and I say we because there's so many people that are doing this work, and people will see that in the book. It's not easy, and it takes a certain person to be called to do the work. Like, people who are doing this and people who have written their stories within this book, you know, it's not just anybody. Like, each person has been like tailored and like strategically picked by like a greater force, you know, to be able to share what they have experienced. It's unique, it's different, it's not like your everyday person, right? And I think that alone is something to just not take for granted. So yeah, I don't want to get lost until like repeat back the original question.
We're just talking.
Okay.
Talking. Yeah. Well, you know, our friend William Freeman, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Will.
We did our podcast yesterday.
Okay.
His episode.
Okay.
And he brought up some like light bulb moments, like not only for the viewers, but like I won by default.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's natural. That's natural for Will.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? And he talked about this like transition of, number one, realizing that you were conditioned to wear a mask, and then figuring out that not only are you wearing a mask, but it's okay to take it off and let that mask be a part of the past.
Yeah.
And just move forward in your authentic self.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you did that in a major way. And in keeping your nose clean, so to speak, people have flocked to you. Because everything, from what I can see, everything that you do and everything that you say is real and genuine. There's no like agenda.
Yeah.
You're not saving up for the Bentley.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
A Bentley be nice, right?
Of course, of course.
but I feel that.
Before the Bentley is change.
Of course.
And empowerment.
Yeah.
For those who are where you were. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, it's the foundation.
And the fact that you are a 2-time best-selling author and you don't even identify as an author.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of, oh, what is Tenaj doing? Yeah, sign me up. Or Tenaj is doing a thing. I'll read about it later. Go ahead and sign me up. Like, how many of those people do you have? A lot. You have a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've built those circles. And that foundation is strong. It's not a house of cards. And that can't be glossed over. You know what I mean? Because that is the behind the scenes work.
Yeah.
That's how you release a book and on day one it's a bestseller.
Yeah.
Because you're putting in that work. You're building those real authentic relationships. And people rock with you.
Yeah.
You've got an army for good.
Oh, I like that. That's a t-shirt. That's a whole, army for good. Thank you. Borrowing that.
Available soon on the merch store. I only need 3%.
Got it. Just 3%.
There's like a running theme now through the podcast. I'm going to have 3% of like 9 different
of everyone.
websites.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. I'm going to quote you from the book, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
You said, I turned my pain into a platform. I turned my pain into a platform. What moment made you realize your voice had weight?
Well, I'll start backwards. A moment I realized that my voice didn't have weight was when I was in the courtroom at the age of 16 with my mom, who was advocating on my behalf because I was too scared and ashamed to speak up about the abuse that I was experiencing in a relationship with someone that I thought that I loved very much. And I felt like my voice didn't hold weight because I didn't have a voice. But I had a mother who saw my truth and who was able to advocate on my behalf. And I saw that her voice held weight in that courtroom. And I think that is what made me in that moment realize speaking your truth is the weight, no matter what it is, no matter where it is. You have a voice, a God-given voice. I don't care where you're at. I don't care who's in the room. I don't care what credentials they have. I don't care how much money they make. Whatever it is, you have a voice, you have a story, and you need to speak your truth whenever you have an opportunity to do so, when you know it's going to either impact yourself as an individual, or if you know that it's going to impact hundreds to thousands to millions of people around the world. Speak your truth. And I think I recognize my voice had weight when I had held, I would say, my very first workshop on a college campus. When I started Light to Life in 2012 on a college campus, it was the first domestic violence program that was funded through a college called Wesley College. And I recognized that my voice held weight in that moment when we hosted our first workshop. And we had over 15 college students that we impacted on that campus. And I had shared my story of survival. And I had shared how I had overcome my abusive relationship and the support systems that I had. And I had one person come up to me after I had shared my story. This was the first session we ever hosted on this college campus. And they came up to me and said, your voice, your story, everything you shared really resonated with me. And I'm actually in an abusive relationship right now. And I don't really know what to do. I didn't really know who to talk to about it. And I'm not really sure on what kind of help I need. And I think that was the moment where I was like, yeah, I think this is what I've been called to do for the rest of my life. And that's where one mission, one voice comes from, is because my entire mission whenever I step into a room is if I could just have one person to either share or to just come up to me and to share that the story resonated with them, or that is a moment where they actually shared their own survivor experience with me, then I feel like I'm having a positive impact, because that one person can later have a domino effect on other people. And that one person now is getting more support and help than they had before. And so I feel like that is when I realized that my voice held weight, is when I was able to have just one person to say that it really helped them, and to be able to connect them to support and resources that ultimately I think really helped them in their healing journey too. Yeah.
I'm just going to let that sit for a second.
Okay. I like going down the memory lane though. Humble beginnings.
And just that one little example, right? Think about where that person is now and how differently that might look had they never known you.
I don't even know what that would be like. Crazy sidebar story, really quick. P2P was here in NCHEP last year. We came to this conference last year. Stan and I, Dr. Andres and I, were celebrating during the P2P retreat. We met a young woman on Bourbon Street in New Orleans who had came up to Stan and I and was sharing her story. She shared her story of how she was a survivor of gender-based violence, and she's still in a relationship that wasn't healthy. I shared my contact with her, connected with her, and just, checked in here and there. Yesterday, New Orleans, at the Freedom Fundraiser event. Who walks in? The same young woman that Stan and I saw last year. What are the odds? Divine timing. There's no other explanation. She comes up to me. She's like, I remember you from last year. You talked about your work in domestic violence. I shared a little about my story, and she was like, you just had like this really positive impact. And like, I want you to know today I just filed a restraining order. She just came from court when she came to the event. After court, she was like, I just filed a restraining order and, I'm moving forward. And she starts tearing up and crying. And I was just like, can I hug you? And in that moment, it was just like confirmation that you just never know the work that you're doing and like how that can impact someone's life a year later, you know? And then, I was just confirming for her, just like, you made the right decision. And yeah, I was just like confirming for her, like, you made the right decision. And, the tears.
Happy tears.
You do this all the time.
Happy tears.
But it was just like, you made the right decision. And, God is clearing space in your life for abundance and new love, healthy love, and new opportunities. And we just held hands and I prayed for her. And it was just confirmation in the right place at the right time. There's no other explanation for that other than, there's a higher force that is literally like, I'm putting you here, here, here at this time. Mm-hmm. You're going to have an impact in this way. Nothing is by mistake ever. I truly believe that. And so, yeah, I think that right there is just like a clear indication of partnership, of being able to share your story, to uplift your voice, because you just never know how it's going to impact people later. And that was a year later, so there's power in your voice, there's power in your story. And just going back to the book is that's exactly what all of these co-authors are having and are going to continue to have on people's lives. Like once they read this book, it's not anything that I feel like they've ever read before. Yeah. Because these are not your everyday people.
Yeah.
That you just, and they are, I'll say they are. But at the same time, again, going back to what I said earlier, is everyone in this book, people don't look like what they've been through.
Right.
Through God's grace. To me, everyone's a superhero in my eyes. It's just like, kind of like, like Superman, like in disguise, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Underneath the suit and tie and the glasses, there's a cape.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, everyone's so inspiring.
So you didn't come from comfort, you came from chaos.
Yeah, I came from comfort of love, though. I'll say that.
And after we'll just call it the chaos.
Yeah.
After the chaos, you made a choice, a conscious decision, which is probably the hardest part, to build differently.
Yeah.
What's something that people don't understand about generational trauma?
There's no blueprint. There's no blueprint for this shit. Sorry, can I curse? Okay. There's no blueprint, I come from a line of very strong women, and I come from a mother who may not have had everything and may not have knew everything, but did the best with what she had and did the best with what she knew. And I say there isn't a blueprint because being able to break generational ties of trauma and being able to break generational victimization ties to incarceration, there's no book to tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
You kind of have to figure it out so that you're not what people would say like another statistic, right? Because being raised in the environment that I was raised in, overcoming the circumstances that I've overcome, research and scholars would say, or academics would say, you know, I shouldn't be in the position that I am in today. I think folks would say, coming from a parent who was formerly incarcerated or coming from poverty and witnessing violence and being a survivor, the circumstances would be totally different. And I would say being able to break that just comes from the mindset of growth and understanding that there are no ceilings in anything that I do. And if I ever get really a no, I'm just asking the wrong person. And I need to go ask someone else because someone's going to give me a yes. And I'm determined. So I think it came from a mindset of recognizing that, you know, I want to do better. I want to be better. And I want to see the world better. And if I can just have like this little piece over here, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that this piece of the world is as beautiful and as loving and healing as possible, because that can maybe create space for other people to say, oh, what are they doing over there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can we learn? And then, you know, how can we kind of do that over here? And I think that's what creates change is being able to learn and to be able to listen and to be able to replicate, you know, and creating, I guess, a blueprint, if you will, for others to be able to show like, hey, it wasn't the prettiest. It did come from chaos, but this is the finished part of it right now. And it's continuing to grow and evolve. So I would say, yeah, definitely like a mindset of growth and a mindset of just never taking no and continuing to strive and move forward with having people that really believe in you. And I think that has been how I've been able to break those generational ties to victimization, to incarceration, community, people believing in me, and my mindset of just never wanting to give up and making sure that I'm going to do whatever I can do to be the best that I can be and to serve in the best way that I can serve for the world.
Wow. That's all I'm going to say on that one is wow.
Yeah. I like these questions, Rick. They're really good.
Thank you. Why do you think we need to redefine what leadership looks like in a marginalized community?
Why do I think we need to redefine what leadership looks like in a marginalized community? I think often history has defined a certain face of leadership, whether that's a certain gender of leadership, a certain social economic status of leadership, a certain religion of leadership, a certain race of leadership, a certain sexual orientation of leadership. Y'all, we are in 2025. And so much has changed within our world, and so much is continuing to change in our world. And I honestly think it would be very naive to think that leadership only looks one way. There are leaders all around the globe who are doing amazing work in their communities that don't even really have a platform, but are just doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone looks different. And the way they do it is going to look different based on the resources that are available within their community. And I think that's what people need to understand. And just because it's different doesn't mean that it's better or worse, doesn't mean that this is the only way to do it. It's just understanding that there are differences, and that is what's beautiful about it. And we should embrace those differences because we can learn from those different leaders. And I think it's important to understand that leaders can look different and do their work different because that creates more opportunities for people to resonate in different ways. I'm Afro-Latina, and I know that I don't look probably like what a typical leader would look like. I look very young. I'm 32 years old.
What?
Yeah, I know. But when I come into spaces, often I'm the youngest in a lot of my spaces that I'm going into. And I come from a background going into certain spaces that, I'm going into spaces with people who have PhDs and are very well known and articulate themselves in different ways. And I'm coming in as my authentic self. And I embrace that because I understand that there is someone that may have had similar experiences. There is someone who may have short blonde hair or be bald or have tattoos, because I do have tattoos, like have tattoos and have some swag about them that's just different,
Mm-hmm.
And I represent that fully and to the fullest because that in itself, when someone can see that, they can say, oh, I can do that too. And I think that's the biggest thing is like when you have diversity in leadership, it brings more opportunities for people to say, I can do that too. And that's ultimately what leadership is really about. It's about passing the baton. It's not about, I have all the power, I'm sitting in the chair. Great for the time being so that people can learn, but you need to scooch over because there's other people that are going to fill in that chair as time passes. And I think that's really the problem nowadays is people don't want to give up the power, but it was never yours to begin with.
Exactly.
It was never yours to begin with. It's creating opportunities for other people. And I think that's what leadership is about. That's what real power is about, is recognizing its power is not yours. It's everyone's to share, and it's to learn, and it's so that you can pass the baton to other people. And I think when we can embrace that and we can understand that's when we can really come together collectively to create change. And I think that's exactly what this book is showing, is that leadership, everyone in the book is so different. In the way we look, in the way we dress, the way we talk, all the things, our backgrounds. And I think that's what makes this so beautiful, is because it's going to resonate with someone in all different ways. And I think someone's going to say like, oh, I love Kelsey. I love her pink hair. Like my hair is pink. Or I love William. He got a bald head. I got a bald head. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone can resonate in different ways with that. And I think that's real leadership. Yeah.
Man. So let's see. You're a founder. You're a speaker. You're a change maker, right? You went from surviving trauma to designing systems of care.
I like that.
Tell us about Light to Life. What do you do? Who do you serve?
Light to Life is a international social enterprise where we provide gender responsive programming that is trauma informed, intersectional, and is healing, providing workshops, technical assistance, and creating spaces for women and girls and gender nonconforming people to break victimization ties to incarceration. We do a lot.
That's a mouthful.
It's an elevator, a quick elevator pitch.
For the dummies in the room,
No.
what does that mean?
Yeah, okay. So really we create healing spaces. We create healing spaces, whether we're working inside of correctional facilities, working at universities, providing education to organizations that really want to better understand how can they center survivors' voices within their policies and practices, right? And so we're creating that bridge. We're providing the resources, the tools, the language on how do you really center survivors' voices in everything you do, in your practices and your policies, and a space for survivors and for women and young women to connect with each other, to share their stories, and to learn on like how do you identify patterns of unhealthy and abusive relationships so that you can build positive foundational relationships.
Mm.
Does that help?
Yes. Yes, I get it now.
Okay.
What does the next couple of years look like?
Oh, I'm so excited about the next couple of years.
Where are we taking this?
Oh gosh, God willing.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. So, all right. In the next couple of years, what we are envisioning is building out with our partners a international strategic plan that is in partnership with multiple countries across the globe on preventing gender-based violence and influencing policy to be able to free women and to be able to create healing for women and for their children. So, that's gonna happen over time, of course, but the ultimate goal is to create community-led solutions that are driven and are being co-created by the people it's impacting, and being able to share that information from these different communities to inform a strategic plan that ultimately is going to be a framework for the United States to adapt on how do we prevent gender-based violence, not just in the United States, but also internationally with other countries. So really uniting nations and uniting women from all across the globe and just creating a healing initiative and a movement. Yeah. I mean, you said it earlier, but that is what I'm envisioning over the next couple of years.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be doing this by myself, of course. There's going to be a lot of partnerships, a lot of amazing people who are going to be a part of this. And this is just the start, but that's the power of community. It's like, there's this phrase where if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And we want to go far. So we're bringing all my people coming.
That's very cool. Referencing back to the book, you wrote, "Breaking silence saved my life." What did silence cost you? And what did your truth give back to you?
Silence almost cost me my life. For years, I wasn't speaking out about the abuse that I was experiencing. It's a blessing that I'm here. I easily could have died. You know, a lot of women are unfortunate and not able to escape from abusive relationships. So it could have cost me my life. And I think by speaking up and speaking my truth was something that was priceless. That's something that will never be taken away from me as long as I have a voice. That in itself was the pathway to freedom. The pathway to freedom and to my peace and to my strength as a woman.
Mm.
And to really seeing my inherited power as a woman. Yeah.
Let's break the fourth wall right now.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
So there's a good chance that someone caught wind of this book coming out and this series that we've created for the podcast, and they saw your episode title and couldn't wait to jump over to YouTube and hit play on this video right now.
Yes, we're going to speak that into existence.
And they are currently the person you're talking about. So let's break the fourth wall. Tell them what to do.
Go buy the book. Pre-order now. That's the first thing I'm going to say. You will not regret it. And then when you go buy it, gift it and buy it for another, no matter what, put it on your Christmas list. That's going to be the first thing. But yeah, in all seriousness, I would say you have a story, right? We all have a story. And maybe it's not through writing a book. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a kitchen table conversation with your friends and family. Maybe it's having a nice coffee session with a stranger or a loved one and sharing your story. You have a story and you're here for a reason, and your purpose is limitless. And I would say to whoever is watching this, whether they're thinking about writing a book or whether you're, maybe nervous about writing a book, or even just nervous or hesitant on just sharing your story, just know that your truth and your story can have an impact on not just one person, but hundreds to thousands to millions of people across the world. And just know that whatever you have been through and whatever you're going through is everything that is essentially happening to you is really happening for you and for other people to be able to learn. And it's a testimony for other people to learn from. And so that is a part of the healing journey. And so I encourage you to find your healing space to be able to do that, because someone can really not just learn from it, but you could potentially save someone's life. And so I encourage you to speak up, speak your truth, and use your voice.
That's powerful. Let's go one deeper.
Okay.
To the woman who's watching right now, who is currently in her chaos. And she's on that island all by herself. And you're out there with the lifeboat looking for her, essentially. What does she do right now? She's watching this video because she doesn't know what to do. Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I know things just got real just now, but
Yeah. I'm gonna speak to this camera. sis, I'm gonna say, like, don't give up. Like, don't give up. And you're breathing right now for a reason. And your life has purpose still. And this is not the end of your chapter. This is really just the beginning. And whatever you have to do, do not worry about how people are going to see you, what they might say about you, how they might judge you. You need to do what you need to do, what's best for you, and what is going to protect you, what is going to protect not only you, if you have children, what's going to protect your children. And it's by any means necessary, and to keep fighting by any means necessary, even if it's just getting out of the bed and putting your feet on the ground. That is something that you should recognize, and that is something that I'm acknowledging you for, because that alone sometimes is the hardest thing to do, is just to get out of bed. And if you did that today, you're winning. And if you're alive and if you're breathing, you're also winning. And I just don't want you to give up. I want you to keep fighting. And despite the circumstances, despite how people treat you, despite what they say about you, you need to keep moving forward. And so that's what I would say. And then I want to say something, even if it's like real raw, fuck them. And God's got you. Always. Just know that. Rick, you get on my nerves. You really do.
I'm sorry.
He's like, we're gonna go deeper. That's a note to myself, to be honest with you. That's what I would have said to myself. Like, fuck all them. No one's gonna understand the decisions that you make. There's always gonna be a person that's always gonna be like, I don't know if you should do that. I don't think you should say that. Do what feels like right here. And you'll know. You know what I mean? We know that. We know in our heart what feels right, what feels good, what we shouldn't do. It feels good in our spirit, or it doesn't feel good. And I think, we have to lead with that. We have to lead with our heart and not with our mind. Sometimes you have to lead with your mind, but in most cases, lead with your heart. Yeah. Got me on my soapbox.
Where can folks go to get involved and support, to reach out, to get in contact with you, to see what's going on, to get involved in any way? Socials, website, whatever. Let's have it.
Yeah. Definitely check me out on social media. So Light to Life is at One Mission, One Voice. Our website is lighttolife.org. And we also have research that we have released called They Are Survivors 2 in partnership with P2P. And that is called They Are Survivors 2. And you can find our website at theyaresurvivors2.org. And for my book, if you're interested in the books that I was talking about earlier, you can go to tenajmoody.com. And if you're interested in our co-author series, I'm not sure where that's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be everywhere. So any place they're selling books, our book will be there. I know it will, because that's just...
It's in the description below.
Yeah, check out that description. But yeah, that's where y'all can find me. And those
awesome.
links, yeah.
Tenaj, it's always a pleasure to put you in front of my camera. This time I jumped in front of the camera with you.
I'm honored.
So it was fun. It was awesome. Sorry for making you cry.
Listen, gangsters cry too.
That's right. I'm super excited for this book to come out,
Yeah, me
and
too.
I'm very anxious to see what the comments look like.
Me too. Me
you
too.
know.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank P2P. Thanks, Dan, the whole P2P family. None of this would be possible without those relationships. So I'm just continue to be humbled and honored and privileged. So thank you. And thank you for such thoughtful questions. Like, you really are. You should be in the camera more, by the way, because you're killing it. But yeah, thank you.
On that note, like and subscribe. Click the link in the bio, in the description, somewhere around this video. What else do they say? I don't know. Usually
Click right here.
I'm on the other side of the camera. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go check out another episode. Support P2P. Buy the book. Buy your neighbor a book. Buy your nephew and your cousin a book. This is the one. This is the one.
For sure.
We'll get you on the next one. I didn't like that. Tune in for the next episode.